This video will walk you through the process of creating an interactive notebook for use in your Schoology courses. There are a couple of different ways of doing this. I like this method. I think it presents an easy way to share the document with your students in your courses and give students an easy way to continue adding entries into the notebook and for teachers to go in and grab a grade from those entries. It's a two-part process, and the first part begins in Google. So I'm going to go to my Google Drive. The first thing you want to do is create a folder called Notebooks. So I've actually called mine Science Notebooks because these notebooks are going to be used in my science course. And when I open that folder up, I've already started, I've created my master copy and I've started making copies for my students. And I'll show you my master copy just quickly here. I used Google Slides. You could also use Google Docs for this, but I like slides. I think it gives an easy way for students to add entries. As you can see, my notebook has got 6 slides here, and very simply, there's a title slide, and each slide has a place for the student to add a date and then add their entry. And when students want to add an additional slide, they simply come down to the last slide and right-click and click Duplicate Slide. So now I have 7. Or they can go up into the menu and click on Slide, Duplicate Slide, and the same thing will happen. So now we have 8. The next thing is to make a copy of this master copy of your notebook for each of your students. I'm going to click on File, Make a Copy of the entire presentation. And when this window opens, I'm going to change the name to the name of one of my students. I have one more student. Mock Student 1. As you can see, it's already going to save into my Science Notebook folder in my Drive, so I click OK, and it'll take a second to process. But once that does, when I go to my Drive, you can see now, it just popped in, I now have a notebook for each of my 3 students. So now I'm going to go to my Schoology account and go into my science course. And the first step in Schoology is to build or create a notebook folder. So I've created my folder here, and when I open this up, as you can see, I've also already added a folder for 2 of my students. I need to add a folder for that 3rd student, Mock Student 1. So I'm going to click Add Materials, Add Folder, and we're going to name this Student 1. We'll make it green and create the folder. Now I need to go into the folder for that student and add a page. So Add Material, Add Page. We're going to title this, there we go, Science Notebook. And you can add whatever instructions you want in the body of the page. So I'm just going to put in here students to add a date and a title to each entry. And the last thing I need to do is create a link to the student's notebook in this page. So here's my link option here. But the first thing I need to do is go back to Schoology or to Google Drive and get the link for this student's notebook. So I click on that student's notebook, click on the link icon. I'm going to change this from restricted to Aldine Independent School District and change the rights from viewer to editor. We want the student to be able to add entries. Then I'm going to copy the link. I'm done there. Now I can go back to my Schoology course, click the link icon in my page that I'm creating, and paste the link and give it a title. And it's going to populate for me because I've already done this a couple of times. Click here to open your notebook and then insert the link. The last thing I'm going to do is highlight all the text in this page and give it the largest font possible. A lot of our students have got touch screen devices, and they can simply touch the link to get to their notebook. And then we'll create the page. I'm going to go back up one level to my notebooks. So here are my three notebooks or folders for my students with their individual notebooks in them. And the last thing I need to do is individually assign this student to their folders. You can see by this icon right here, that's already been done for these other two students. So to do that, I'm going to click the gear icon to the right, click individually assign, click in the search window, checkbox my third student, click out to the right. I'm going to click next and then click assign. And now, as you can see, my student, my third student, has his folder individually assigned to them. So when we go in and view the course as one of the students, and I'll just choose mock student 1, when that student, as you can see, I'm viewing this course now as my mock student 1, and when he goes into the notebook folder, he's only going to see his individually assigned folder so he can get to his notebook by clicking on this link. So here we are in mock student's notebook. And if he adds an entry, we'll date it. And this is ecosystems. He saw a lot of great bugs in this ecosystem. And the great thing is, when I go in to my drive and I open up the student's notebook, because of the way shared documents work, I could see his entry. And if I want, I can add a comment. And my student will be able to see that when my student goes back to his and clicks on that tile or that slide, he sees my comment. And that's the process.